You may have heard about how many people in Great Britain in particular started requesting that their energy payments be fully waived since inflation is making everything impossible. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine has already caused the economy to cross its fingers for the impending winter. Thus, business is booming for the oil and energy-based industries. Now that Russia has entirely stopped supplying oil and gas to the EU countries, the Asian corporations in the oil and energy sectors are thriving because of it. These enterprises sell their products at up to 5 times the original price to the EU countries. The oil and energy industries are becoming increasingly wealthy, even if the people in the West are suffering. When the news of the UK's intention to wave the white flag on the profits gained by these firms emerged, people's anger at the entire scenario increased. Why, specifically, don't they also pay taxes on a sizable amount of their profit? And why is it not being used to lower prices? Or perhaps there is a different trick that you are unaware of. As UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres quoted, "The combined profits of the largest energy companies in the first quarter of this year are close to $100 billion US. I urge all governments to tax these excessive profits and use the funds to support the most vulnerable people throughout these difficult times." For the data, use the companies that produced more than 3 times as much profit in the second quarter of 2022 as compared to the prior year. In contrast to 4.69 million in 2021, ExxonMobil posted earnings of $7.9 billion this year. On the other hand, Shell recorded revenue of $11.5 billion, up from $5.5 billion the year prior. Even though we consider that buyers' prices have increased from the previous year, these profits are still too pronounced for the current population. Since the US poverty rate was projected to be 12.8% this year, up from 10.5% in 2019, this increase revealed a new aspect of the price bracket. As 14.5 million people live in poverty in the United Kingdom alone, this demonstrates why the oil and gas businesses must participate urgently. The chief executive of BP said that the energy crisis is turning the corporation into a cash machine, which undoubtedly awakened people's minds as the wave of winter made it difficult for them to have warmth in their houses. Guterres commented, "The grotesque greed is punishing the poorest and most vulnerable people while destroying our only home." In recent months, it has become clear that many individuals, and particularly opposition Labour politicians, have strong feelings about tax benefits being reduced and oil firms granting subsidiaries. For this reason, the Conservative government in Britain pushed through a 25% windfall tax on energy businesses in the North Sea. The purpose of the £5 billion increase is undoubtedly to benefit the populace. President Biden was spotted criticizing the oil industry's financial predicament in July. The biggest oil business in the world, Saudi Aramco, has been witnessed making $42 billion while the rest of us are dealing with similar difficulties. So, how precisely are these businesses still profitable with such limitations? If you look at the chart from 2020, when a similar situation occurred, you will find that the oil corporations began to increase production to boost sales and lower prices. However, they aren't doing this anymore to profit from the crisis and fill their own pockets. The oil firms are not in the mood to worry about the common populace, since it's exactly what that investment community wants. It will maintain stock prices high. However, President Biden has consistently pulled the strings to force these businesses to lower their price or pay windfall taxes. As a result, this is a new circumstance that is turning out very differently. According to Clifford Krauss, the president has been releasing many barrels of oil daily from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to reduce the energy price at all costs. Considering the current UK situation, which offers a £400 reduction to all households, this could be a new course of action for assistance. However, it's still unclear whether oil company revenues are immune from the entire scenario. Well, if we oppose the shift to other resources like fossil fuel and lessen our reliance on oil and gas, it might usher in a new era for the sector. However, there have been rumors that a recession could start shortly and that oil prices could drop as little as $70 per barrel. This demonstrates how it can worry the oil firms to make the most of the current circumstances. Particularly, the Friend of the Earth activist, Freya Atchison, has been heard discussing how the UK's cost of living is collapsing, particularly because of the weight of escalating energy prices. He continued by pointing out how, despite everything, Shell stakeholders continue to grow richer every day. It is a severe issue because even Ed Miliband has described Britain's energy bills as being much fiercer than they were in prior months. Our preparedness will save lives, but only if it is enough with December arriving in less than a month. If the issue couldn't be brought under control, prices might continue to climb into 2025, according to global market analysis at Goldman Sachs. So, will there be any new changes to lock up the oil and gas industry's profits? Or will this herald the dawn of a new economic era?